So I just got done watching Weapons. Is this movie being overhyped, or is it actually as good as they say? Let me tell you the good and the bad. So Weapons was one of my most anticipated horror movies of this year, mainly for Zach Cregger, because I really loved Barbarian. I understand though why some people didn't like it, but I went into this hoping to love it just as much as I did Barbarian, and although I think this is a really good movie, I don't think I'm as high on it as a lot of people calling it the best horror movie this year. Starting off with things I did like about it, Zach Cregger is definitely crafting his own style and vibe, where now I am down to see any horror movie this director makes. You guys have seen the premise in the trailer. A bunch of kids disappear at 2:17 a.m. in the middle of the night, and we're gonna find out what happens to them. That premise is set up within the first 2 minutes of the movie, and that allowed the rest of the movie to be this crazy, unique, unexpected turn. While watching this, I had absolutely no idea where the story was headed, what could possibly be behind these kids disappearing, and as the movie peeled back each layer, it was more and more intriguing. The movie is divided up in these sections where you actually get the perspective of each character through the course of a couple of days, and each person's viewpoint unlocks a new element and clue to the story, and this type of structure just allowed their great cast to each have a moment to shine. I do think there is a good amount of creepy moments, not as much as I was expecting. While there are a couple of gory, horrific things that are going to make you turn away from the screen, the movie leans more into the mystery aspect, and it's also surprisingly funny. There was a lot of moments I was not expecting to laugh that the movie was purposely throwing at you. Seeing it with a crowd made it that much more better, because as they were jumping with some of the jump scares, they were also dying of laughter, specifically at one thing at the end. If I am getting on some things I'm mixed and negative about, I feel like the journey of finding out what happens is a lot more interesting and fun than actually finding out what happened. Not to say there isn't cool stuff in there, it is. Once you find out who is behind it and the things actually happening to these kids, I think there is a creepy factor in there. I just kind of would have liked a little bit more fleshing out with that. We spent so much time seeing different perspectives of other characters that once you find out what's actually happening, it feels like a lot of those perspectives weren't needed, and we were kind of filling in time. Some people are going to find it very meandering, where they're almost dangling the carrot with information, and some people are going to find that exhausting. Also, for being branded as a horror movie, I think there are long stretches in this movie where not a lot of horror is happening. I also think even the way some plot points get wrapped up at the end feel very rushed and aren't that satisfying. There is one super satisfying thing that happens at the end of the movie. Did love that, but I think there are some things that are left to be desired with the ending. Overall, though, I still highly recommend this movie, and I did really enjoy it. There is a part of me, though, that wishes, though, I was higher on this movie, like I've seen a lot of my other movie mutuals who absolutely love this film. I don't know if I could say I loved it, but dang, I had a good time, and the movie is unique and interesting enough where it feels original and not something I've seen done before, and that in itself makes it worth
Just got back from the cinema to hop on here and tell you guys that this is the best horror film I've seen of the 2020s so far, hands down. I absolutely love horror films. The two loves of my life are horror films and reality TV. This film, fuck me, this film delivers. This has some moments which are incredibly squeamish. Also has some jump scares in it that I did actually jump at, which is always a very good sign. This little fella gives a performance of his career so far. He is going to go far, mark my words. I was in awe of him. The amount of talent it protects this boy. Diva pops up. This diva pops up in it. She's having a fantastic weekend. She's also in Freakier Friday. She's got both films coming out this weekend, so no matter what, she's going to be #1 at the box office. Iconic legend. If you like Barbarian, you will like this. If you like Longlegs, you will like this. If you like the Smile films, you will like this. I don't think this is too similar to Smile, but it has some similarities. Great pleasure to give this film a 4.5 out of 5 on the coveted JF letterbox. It's the same username as this one. I get a -0.5 because there are some things I would change about it, but I'm not going to say it until everybody's watched it because I don't think that's fair. But go and see this movie. You will not regret it if you love
Weapons
horror.
was amazing. It's crazy how many good horror movies, I mean, not even good, great horror movies this year. We have gotten so many great horror movies this year, and Weapons is the newest addition. Weapons is written and directed by Zach Cregger, who also previously did Barbarian, which is a movie that I very much love. I know a lot of people didn't like it, and I kind of understand why some people wouldn't like that movie, but I definitely did. And Weapons I was so excited for, so I am so happy that it was amazing. It's an original story about kids from one classroom that all go missing except for one at 2:17 in the morning, and a disgruntled father of one of the kids and a very troubled teacher tries to figure out what exactly happened. And it's great. It subverts your expectations in some instances, and it just really stands in its own realm of horror. I love how this story isn't actually a true story, but the narrative suggests that yes, this is a true story. This is stuff that happens in the real world, and sometimes it is so unexplainable as to what happens to people. And the movie is basically just a metaphor to the traumatic experiences that the family and friends go through. It was quite amazing, and Zach Cregger is definitely making a name for himself in the
There's
horror
one thing I really didn't like about Weapons, and one thing I think it does better than almost any horror film ever. Here are my spoiler-free thoughts on the film. Okay, first and foremost, I understand it now. After seeing this movie, I fully understand why Jordan Peele wanted to be a part of this film so badly. Whatever you're expecting going into this movie, you're gonna be wrong. Because I can honestly say that almost nothing in the movie turned out the way that I thought it would, and I love that about it so much. And I'm telling you right now, the ending will have your jaw on the floor. In fact, when you see the ending, come back and tell me what you thought, because I want to know. Make sure you see this in a packed theater, because if you do, you'll be a part of some of the greatest crowd reactions to a movie in a long time. It was so much fun being able to scream and laugh and yell at the movie screen together. Speaking of laughing, the movie's not only a horror movie, but at times it felt like a straight up comedy. I'm talking there were so many moments when my entire theater was laughing out loud and reacting. And one sequence in particular toward the end had our audience in stitches for a good 2 minutes. One thing I think Zach Cregger does better with this film than most horror movies in history is the storytelling. The story is told in different chapters, and each chapter is so unique with a fresh perspective. And the way he uses that to unfold the mystery behind the plot is just amazing. Julia Garner is an acting queen. Her range in this movie is just insane. You're never gonna look at Campbell's soup the same way again, or a potato peeler. But there's one thing I really didn't like about this film. Okay, so I lied to get you here. I don't really have any complaints about this movie. Give me my like, follow if you enjoy talking about movies and TV, and go see Weapons because it's really
Let me
good.
tell you this. Y'all better stop thinking that black magic and voodoo don't exist in this realm, or it's just the movies or TV, because you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. I watched the Weapons movie last night, and what I got from it is the supernatural world is alive and breathing. People that do black magic are alive and breathing. That movie was some real psychological, scary shit. This is why you should never just allow anybody to come into your house. So what the preview shows you is one night at 2:17 a.m., some kids get out of their bed and they leave. 17 kids to be exact. Basically, the movie is told in like a 7-part story. 7 characters, 7 different ways, 7 things that led up to what is about to happen in the middle of the movie. But this shit is deeper than that. And let me tell you this shit. Some people is gonna get on here and say it's not scary. The shit is scary. It shows you that dark magic is alive and breathing. And I'm gonna just say it that way. Mind you, I watched the movie in 4DX. So anything that was happening in the movie, rocking, shaking, you felt it all. Any type of evilness, you felt it. When the guy threw up blood in another person's face, the mist came out. You felt it. The shit was one of the best movies I seen today. But here's the thing. This shit really has me looking sideways right now. Because listen, anybody can be walking around with that bad, negative energy, and anybody can try and pass that energy off on you. Pay attention to this shit. You know they be giving you real life clues in movies. And this is how shit be happening.
This is a true story. 17 kids walked outside, and they never came back. This is where the story really starts.